Over the last decade or so, both Bo and I have talked to thousands of people about their dreams and what they're looking forward to doing. We've also talked to thousands of people that have proven to be too scared to take the steps that we talk about. I thought what we should do in today's conversation is revisit the most consistent reasons people are scared, talk about them, recognize them, and see if we can help folks. Bo is our guest, the concierge to small business lending. He is the guy you go to for small business loans. But let's talk people being scared to move forward on chasing their dreams. Bo, what's number one?
Number one is they want to take action, but they sit in a state of learning, meaning they will go to every course, will go to every webinar, will pay all this money, and they'll just keep learning and learning and learning without ever implementing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. They're in a constant state of I need more information without realizing that one of the reasons Jason Pritchard is the top 4 investor in my book is he is only worried about the next step, not, from A to Z. He only needs to figure out B, and then he worries about C. And again, you need to be at some point action oriented. One of the reasons I think that a lot of people are scared is, again, you're small business. I'm real estate. You have experience in real estate as well. But when I think about real estate, I think a lot of people are influenced by my friends, next door neighbors, dog walkers experience, right? There are lots of horrific stories, especially today, right? If you're today, you're probably you have vivid memories of the great financial crisis. You don't remember why it happened. You don't remember that some people called and profited from it. You just remember, disaster. And, on that ilk, people remember negativity a lot more than, goodness. So I think a lot of people don't realize it, that they're stuck on, their next door neighbor's grandmother's dog walker's story. It's not theirs. It's not even anyone they know's story. It's some kind of third person removed 4 times, but they let that nonsense, which might not even be true, it's so far removed, hold them back.
Yeah, that's a really good. That's spot on as well. The next one, I actually had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, a fear of losing money. This gentleman, I won't name names, but he is a viewer, and he probably had about 2 million in retirement, right? So a lot more than the average person. And he had about 200 grand in liquid in his banks. And his big fear about, obviously he scheduled a call because he's interested in learning more. He got downsized from his job that he spent 21 years at. And in his notes to me, he says, I do not want to go back and work for the man. So when I was talking with him yesterday, he says, I have a fear of losing money that will prevent me from getting into owning a business. And so the takeaway there is one is that guy's got more money than most people at his age, and yet he has a fear of losing money. So I was trying to dig into it a little bit, playing some therapy yesterday, and I'm like what happened at an early age? What did you see? Did you grow up in an environment where your family was very poor and they struggled? There was something holding you back. And I was trying to talk him into look, first of all, you're not going to be putting $2 million into a project. You might be putting 100,000 of your own money into the project. So what is the real downside risk? If you do your homework, and just like Zuber teaches you to build a buy box in real estate, if you do the same thing in business ownership, what is your downside risk? Are you going to make mistakes? Sure, we all make mistakes. Can you fix those mistakes? Sure, yes. And you have that that nest egg. So what is the real underlying factor? And the real underlying factor, I believe, is self-confidence on that one.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of my second one is, and again, it's funny how often this is coming up to me. I didn't appreciate the value in this statement when Pace Morby said it, but it's hitting me harder and harder as I kind of think about folks, and myself included, to be clear. And that is the statement of know thyself, right? I think a lot of us, whether it be real estate or investing, get excited by it, because of somebody we've seen on social media or somebody we know that's killing it in that area. What we don't appreciate is what is unique about that individual or that story. Let's just assume it's true for a moment and it's not some guru fake nonsense. Let's just assume you're Cody Sanchez and you were buying vending machines and then you're buying this and you're buying that and you're killing it. Let's just assume that. Cody Sanchez is wired to do that, right? She was in banking. She ran and grew a Latin America team. She's wired that direction. I don't know if you're going to take offense to this, but most of us aren't wired like Cody Sanchez. Frankly, most of us aren't as smart as Cody Sanchez. So I think a lot of people got to know thyself. And I think a lot of people, and I see this in real estate, and I have to assume it's true in small business, is they chase shiny objects. One day, they're looking at vending, and then they're going to be looking at a service business, and then they're going to be looking at buying a donut store, and then they're going to be looking at laundromats, and then they're going to be, and then they're going to be, and then they're going to be. And you just don't know thyself, right? Are you good with customers? Well, maybe a donut shop makes sense. Do you like getting up early? Probably doesn't make sense. Do you want, to have your kids be a part of it? Maybe vending makes sense. You've got to know thyself. And that was something you and I did this, and I think we recorded it. You have a survey that people can take that maybe helps get that lens a little clearer. Folks, you got to know thyself, whether it's real estate or business. You are who you are. You are unique. You are special, but don't try to cram a square into a round hole. It's crazy. Don't do that.
Totally. I know that about myself. I'm not the most analytical operation type of leader, right? I'm more of the visionary. And so because now I'm getting a better grasp of how I best perform. That's what we all have to do. We have to reflect and go, okay, where are my real skill sets? I'm not the guy behind the camera. I'm the guy in front of the camera. I need somebody on my team that's going to be an integrator, that's good with spreadsheets. Like yesterday, I was working with my marketing guy, Bill, and he's extremely good with Excel. And he's like, dude, we're trying to calculate
3 levels deep. You're like, whoa.
We're trying to calculate when we have a break even. Now I could have penciled it out, but he did it in an Excel formula really quickly. And it was a great drill to do. And I always say everybody needs a Bill on their team. I call him MacGyver. Like I give him any project. So like wherever you're weak, find that partner or coach or somebody to fill in those gaps, because that's how you become successful. Most people that I run into that became very successful, they have that internal gut. And so like they might not know everything about a deal, but they've trained themselves where they can move very decisively. I think that's what we have to do. Like in real estate investing, I remember when I was doing a lot of flips, like if you didn't jump on the deal, somebody else was.
Yeah.
So you might not know everything about it. You might not have done all your inspections yet. You have to use that, that instinct, that gut, and you have to train yourself to be able to use that gut. Now, I'm not telling you to go make quick decisions and haste decisions without doing your due diligence, but I think that comes practice, right? We're shooting free throws every day. So then when we're in the game, we're ready to take the shot. And so I think we all have to get in that position to take the shot.
Yeah. I love that. So my third and final one is people, they just don't understand it takes a decade, right? I don't know anyone in real estate or in business who hasn't gotten wealthy where it was a journey. It was a decade. Maybe it was 8 years. Maybe it was 12 years. I use a decade because it's easy for people to understand. It's not tomorrow. It's not get rich quick, right? And I would argue that the first 5 years of running a small business, like running real estate, sucks. It's where you probably are working the most. It's probably where you're making imperfect decisions. It's probably when you get surprised by competitors. It's this, that, the other thing. It's the heavy lifting of changing systems if you're buying somebody else's business. And and again, by saying it takes a decade to get wealthy, you shouldn't hear that as permission to do nothing. You should hear that with permission to go, great, this decade's going to go by no matter what. What happens after the decade, right? I was able to leave a very nice W-2, which I loved at a moment's notice at 45 because of what I started at 31. And we're 7-8 years past that now, and it's amazing. Trust me, we've been talking about it on this channel forever. But I just want people to have the right time frame. A decade, and the heavy lifting is early. That's why everybody fails, because A, you don't have the right time frame, and B, you expect it to be easy. Getting wealthy is not easy. That's why very few people do it. That's kind of my third and final one.
Yeah. Did I do 3? I can't remember now.
Do one more. Go ahead. Throw another one in there. I know you got it.
No, I love delayed gratification. Let me just interject with something that when we had baby Bo, my son, my dad set up an account for him, and he puts in $100 a month, right? And so,
Nice.
like, you just think about this. We all know we should be saving $100 a month in different accounts, right? We like that's pocket change to many of you out there watching. But the point is, if you could go back and save $100 from when you were born, you would have probably been a better financial position. So I'm setting up those types of things for baby Bo, but you should also set up those things for you now, whatever your age is currently, right? I mean, Colonel Sanders didn't he didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 50s. So wherever you are at, you might be 40, you might be 50. I just saw somebody that did a YouTube channel on people getting into social media at 40 or 50 years old, right? Like,
Yep.
You don't have a fear because of your age. I guess that's the topic on this one. Don't have a fear because of your age. If you're a burnt out person and you're in your 50s and you just got laid off, don't fear the world and think you have to go find another job. Take destiny into your own hand. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Take the leap. You can do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Think about what's the worst case scenario. When you get into a real estate deal, what's the worst that can happen, right? As long as you have thought about all the possible downside risk and you have a little bit of cushion, meaning you're not putting your last penny into it, usually you can work things through in a real estate deal, even if it turns sideways. So don't think just because you've been beaten down, you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you're nowhere near being able to retire. Now's the time to really dig deep, put yourself out there. I think now is a time where you can make up because you need to make up, or you're going to be stuck working at Walmart as a bagger.
Yeah. Folks, at the end of the day, Bo is the concierge of small business lending, but he's done something extra special for One Rental at a Time community. He created this website, onerentalmeeting.com, where you can go book time. It's also where I would go to ask for that survey. Folks, if you're out there thinking you don't know what business is right for you, this survey, I think it took me like 20 minutes to go through. It produces a report, helps highlight it. Bo even will go through it with you if you get the times set up. Bo, thank you for onerentalmeeting.com. What are your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are, look, I have fear just as much as everybody else. And it's just taking little baby steps every single day, showing up, being here, and accountable on almost every single Wednesday. And this is part of what I do, right? This is a routine for me to be on One Rental show, and it just keeps me driven, right? So what are those routines you can set up in your life to move the needle forward so you don't get stuck? And the key is not to get stuck. And that's why I'm here and always energized talking to you every day, because I know all of the viewers out there, right? You have built a tribe of loyal people that want to, that are engaged. It's not like, hey, these are just random viewers. These people are like family. And I think that's the key, is just like stay engaged, even if you're not getting there, even if you have bad days, even if you're not getting your offers accepted. If you keep doing your homework, you will get there. And I tell myself that every day. That's why I set a goal of being able to do 30 pull-ups. And in the first month, I increased by 20%, went from 10 to 12, right? And so will I hit 30? I don't know. But if I can keep doing 5, 10% every month increases, I'll get pretty darn close to hitting 30.
No, I love that. Folks, at the end of the day, Bo doesn't only show up here in discipline, but he spent money creating a website for us, which I still think is crazy. He's the only person in all of my community to do that. onerentalmeeting.com. Go there today. Get your 10 minutes. Take the survey. Figure out what's right for you. Know thyself.